Hey guys, John here. In today's video, we're checking out the new V2 versions of the awesome and legendary Revv G3 and G4 amp in a box distortion pedals. These things are so awesome. And before we get into the details, let's listen to a demo track with both pedals through my Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus. Check it out. Awesome, so that was my ESP LTD EC1000T CTM in charcoal burst or whatnot with the Fishman Fluence modern open core pickups on the bridge pickup, on the active voicing, alternating between the G3, so the purple pedal, and the G4, so the red pedal. Both sounded awesome and both sounded distinct and distinctly unique. The pedals were fed into my Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus amplifier on the clean channel on the warm mode, which is great for pedals, great pedal platform with a lot of headroom. And then the amp was being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 cabinet loaded up with my Celestion Vintage 30. And that signal was sent into the DAW, and that's what you heard, basically. So in case you're not aware of these pedals are quite legendary. In my opinion. I love Revv as a company. They make wonderful amps and pedals. I have their Generator 120 Mark III Revision B back there, that pink amp, the Barbie as I like to call it. And these pedals are based on the red and purple channels of that amplifier. So these pedals have some circuitry in them that make them sound, feel, and respond very similar to a real amplifier, fully analog and all that good stuff. Now, these pedals have been in existence for quite a while, but these are the new V2 versions. So the circuitry has been revised and updated a little bit along the way to make them sound better and feel better. And I can say that I love these pedals a lot. Even the old versions or the previous anniversary versions that I have, those are all really wonderful. So the G3, or the purple pedal, is based on the purple channel of the Revv Generator 120. This is a more tight, modern, and focused sounding pedal. Great for fast riffing, great for leads, great for crunch too, as you'll hear in a minute. This thing is a beast if you're into modern metal. Put this into your clean amplifier and it sounds and feels so good. Then of course the G4 or the red pedal is based on the red channel of the Revv Generator. This is more loose, fat, and sizzly sounding. Kind of more like a rectifier, so great for rhythm, great for big open chords and stuff like that. So basically two different flavors, right? These new versions look really cool. Sometimes they're a little bit hard to get on camera for some reason, but in real life they look really nice and shiny. And of course, they're super sturdy as well. Now, of course, each pedal has a 3-band EQ up top, bass, middle, treble, and then of course a volume and a gain control, as well as an aggression switch. And that aggression switch allows you to add more or less gain. With off, it's the least amount of gain. Blue adds gain, and then red adds even more gain. I like the red mode a lot, obviously. And that's it, quite simple, right? What I'd like to do now is grab a guitar, plug these pedals into the same rig and just play around a little bit and see what sort of tones we can get out of these pedals. It's always a good sign when I can't stop chugging. All right, so I'm sitting here with my ESP LTD Phoenix 1000 Deluxe quilted maple into the Revv G3 and G4 V2 pedals. And those are going straight into my Lichtlaerm Audio Prometheus on the clean channel on the warm setting. So that's a great pedal platform setting. Same settings as before in the demo track. The amp is being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 cabinet in which I've loaded up my Celestion Vintage 30, mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 Kompakt. And the clean channel without the pedals on sounds something like this. You know, kind of like a boring clean, which is basically a perfect pedal platform, because if your amplifier is too shimmery or too bright or too broken up, it might not work so well for these sort of amp in a box style pedals, because these are based, of course, on the purple and the red channels of the Revv generator. I have a generator back there, my pink Barbie amp, which is awesome, but these pedals sound absolutely amazing. So let's just have some fun, dial in some tones, and let me show you what these pedals can do. So just now you heard the purple one, so the G3. Let's start with the G4, which is kind of more like the loose rectifier-ish pedal of the bunch. So the purple one, so the G3, is more tight and more focused, and the red pedal, so the G4, is more loose, fat, and sizzly, if you will. So this is the G4. So that sounds nice, fat, thick, and rich, and kind of more loose in the low end, right? Now we have this aggression switch over here, which is available for both pedals. In the middle it's off, so that's the least amount of gain. So that's more like a crunch tone, right? Then blue is what we had in the intro demo as well as right now, adds more gain. And then, of course, red adds even more. So yeah, that sounds really good. I'm going to stick with the red mode for now. Sounds really nice, fat and rich, but I like how with the aggression switch you can kind of choose the amount of gain that you want to have on this pedal, right? For instance, if you want to boost this with the boost pedal, which you can do, you can treat this as an amplifier, you might want to use the aggression mode setting to off or blue for a little bit less gain so that you can push it further. In this case, I'm putting the guitar straight into the pedal, right? So I don't need to boost it or anything like that. So I like it when it has plenty of gain on tap. Talking about gain, let's see how much gain this pedal has on tap. And yeah, let's just dial in the gain control a little bit, okay? Starting at around 3 o'clock, which is, as you can hear, plenty of gain. That's at the maximum setting. This is quite a lot of gain. Let's go to around noon, so 12 o'clock-ish. So that's already kind of like a polite dad rock crunch, if you will. And if we set the aggression mode to off, it will be even less. Let's lower it even more. So yeah, it's a nice crunch, right? But on this channel, we're all about the gain. So we're going to turn it back up. Red aggression mode, gain to around, let's say 2 o'clock. Let's see how that sounds. Really nice. So, you know, these pedals feel really good under the fingers as well. Really organic. They are analog pedals after all, with circuitry in them that is made to, you know, feel and react and sound like the amplifiers, basically. Cool. Now let's try the EQ. As you can see, I have bass set to around 1030, mids to around 2, and treble almost at 3 o'clock. Let's see what happens if we dial in those controls. And let's start with the bass control, because it has a lot of fatness on tap, that's for sure. That's a lot of low end. It's way too much. Just for fun, let's raise it even more. Yeah, for this setup, that is too much indeed. But it's good to know that you have a wide range there on these EQ controls. Let's lower it to around 9 o'clock. Yes, if you have a very bass-heavy amp, you might want to lower it. But in my case, I think that around here is a good sweet spot. So say 1030-ish. Great. Now, to get the guitar to sound more present in the mix, I did have to add some mids. Let's try the mid control. Scooping out the mids. It's fun, but it doesn't really work, right? Especially not in mix. Let's raise it up even further. Let's try 4 o'clock. That's a lot of mid-range right there. Let's go back to around 130-ish. That's a good spot right there for combining it with this particular amp, right? And then finally, the treble control. Let's try that as well. So you can add a lot of nice cut and definition with that control. Or make it way darker. So the treble control definitely also affects the upper mids, right? So let's take another listen. Yeah, so for this setup, you know, it sounds great with these EQ settings, especially with the treble control at around 3 o'clock. Great, so that is the G4, the red one for the fat tones, right? Now let's go to the G3 for the more tight tones. Let's try the settings that I was on just now. Right away, you can hear it's much more focused and tight, right? So this is more metal by default, I guess you could say. Perhaps the G4, the red one, is more like nu metal and rock, whereas the G3 is a bit more metal, more tight. Better suited for lower tunings. This guitar is tuned to drop C sharp, I believe. Now quickly, let's also go through the aggression modes. We're on the red mode right now, so that's plenty of gain. Now we're on the blue mode. And then with it off, that's nice and all, but I'm going back to the red mode once again for the maximum amount of gain. Love it. But you could definitely get some great sort of dad rock or crunchy or more classic tones out of this pedal with, you know, for example, the blue aggression mode or with the aggression mode off. Let's try this pedal with the mid scooped out a little bit. So the EQ control already reacts a little bit differently than on the red one, I think. It sounds a bit different. But once again, I think that this pedal sounds better with the mids cranked a little bit, just to add some presence and forwardness in the mix, right? Let's see what happens when we crank the mids. Again, great for scooped sounding amps and stuff. Really nice. Let's see if the treble control is as aggressive and drastic as on the G4. Yeah, that's a pretty drastic treble control once again. So it gives you a lot of control over the upper mids and the treble frequencies, right? So again, at around, let's say 130 is a good sweet spot. Let's quickly try the bass control as well. Let's start by lowering it. And then raising it. Again, way too much. Really nice. All right, to finish this off, let's try to get a sort of more classic crunchy tone. Aggression mode set to off, and then let me lower the gain even more and crank the mids up a little bit there. Let's see how that sounds. That's not bad. That's a pretty good crunch tone. Finally, let's go back to the settings that I like so much. Gain cranked, aggression mode to red, and that should sound wonderful. All right, really nice. So those were the Revv G3 and G4 distortion or amp in a box or preamp pedals, whatever you want. They sound excellent. They look cool, you know, and they are quite versatile. As you heard, you can get crunch tones out of them as well as super high gain tones. And if you have these in front of a clean amplifier, you basically get 3 channels, which is really cool. Look, I think they sound really good. So if you're looking for a distortion pedal that sounds really convincing and feels great to play through, very inspiring and all that good stuff, definitely check out the Revv G3 and G4 distortion pedals. And thanks so much to the folks at Revv for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are on these pedals. Have you tried them before? Let me know. Also, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, that really helps the channel out. And if you want to support this channel, you can buy something in my affiliate links, including these pedals, Toe Mount or Sweetwater. I'd really appreciate that. That really helps the channel out at no additional cost for you. You can also buy some of my IR packs in my web store. And of course, you can also follow Sonic Drive Studio on Facebook and Instagram. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.